So from here, the next two shows are October 1st and 2nd. By the time you see this, they will have already happened, but they're not happening live on New Japan World. They're going to be out on VOD. So I'm very much expecting them to be out before the Declaration of Power show, being that the main event of night 2 will directly influence probably a match at Declaration of Power, I assume. That's where that US title match is going to happen. But for this, I have it in the match order coming off of the website. Night 1, you have Gabriel Kidd taking on Dan Maloney. Gabriel Kidd, I absolutely adore.
I love Gabe Kidd. I have a little bit of a crush. Been watching him since he kind of came in on the dojo there for a little bit before he went to the LA Dojo Boys. Personally think that I enjoyed seeing him more when he was working with the New Japan Dojo as opposed to the LA Dojo. But
now he's on excursion.
Now he's on excursion. We want him back, like we want Shota back.
Which I think is coming very soon.
Please, because I miss my shooter. I need my Umino back.
So the second match tonight, Gideon Gray teaming up with the Great O'Khan, taking on the new REV Pro Wrestling British Heavyweight Champion, the man that beat William Ospreay, Ricky Knight Jr., and Ospreay's former protege, Michael Oku. I think this is going to be a really good match, especially with Ricky Knight Jr. and Oku in this match. Both men are phenomenal, like just phenomenal pro wrestlers. Ricky Knight Jr., I think it's the brother of Saraya.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I feel like I recognize the Knight name.
I think younger brother or something. Like I think he's related to her in some way.
Interesting. I honestly, I'm not very well versed with the Rev Pro people. The only ones I kind of really know are like the Zack Sabre Jr., the Will Ospreay, Minoru Suzuki, obviously being a former tag champion, and I believe a Rev Pro champion as well.
I think so.
That being said, we know what O'Khan is capable of. We've kind of seen what Gideon Gray is capable of. So at least we're confident in Great O'Khan's competency in the ring.
This will be a highlight match, I think. Third on the card, Kanji teaming up with the alpha female, Jazzy Gabbard, taking on Alex Windsor and the lady all the way on the right, Ava White. Jazzy and Ava will be facing off the following night in the IWGP Women's World Championship match. But I think this is just going to be mainly a warm-up, and the fact that Alex Windsor's in this, she is the Rev Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. So featuring her on this card makes 100% sense because they're using a lot of Rev Pro people here.
And it's really cool, just to throw it out there, variety of gear that you can see in these girls. You know, there's going to be a huge variety in personality and gimmick. It's going to be a very interesting mix of girls in the ring. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Then you have Hiromu Takahashi, Sonata, and Naito taking on Doki, Desperado, and Sabre. I am not looking forward to Doki being back. I know you like him. I don't. I just don't understand the like for Doki. But this will happen at Royal Quest on the night 1-2. I'm pretty much set up the night 2, or sorry, this on night 1 to set up night 2's main event. I'm pretty sure is what this is here for.
For me with Doki, the situation is the same way. It's evolved in the same way that Desperado evolved for me. When I first started watching New Japan, Desperado was their fall guy. He was the guy who was never winning anything. He was always taking their loss. Essentially, the Bushi of LIJ.
No, that's Doki.
So
you just described Doki. Come on.
But essentially, when Doki did come into Suzuki-gun, that was when we saw Desperado take his first IWGP Junior Championship reign there, and Doki took over being that fall guy. But let me tell you, in that time, he still is. And Taka Michinoku has definitely been that fall guy now. Much to the
Doki hasn't been there.
Of the rest of his team, I might add. But that being said, Desperado, in that time that he was still that fall guy, I was like, I feel like they're doing him a disservice. I feel like he's a lot better than what it is that they're giving him. And there was a time I felt the same way about Yujiro. And I still, feel that way about Bushi. Bushi's a phenomenal wrestler and so over with the crowd. I mean, the girl is always screaming, Bushi, Bushi, Bushi. You know, I feel that Doki is in that place for me. That's how I feel about him. Obviously, there's a difference of opinion there, but for me, the match with Hiromu, when Hiromu had just come back from his torn pec injury, that match for me was definitely the step up that made me go, "Oh, Doki's legit." Because he's not afraid to do that crazy lucha libre stuff, which gives me a high amount of anxiety, I might add. But
Yeah.
it's still something that he adds into his technicalness and also the power moves that he kind of does. You know, he's got that that really cool finish that he does. That says Del Sol is the end of it. Luna del Sol.
Not sure.
I can't remember what it's called, but he does have some really, really incredible moves. I think he's at the point now where he's ready to relinquish his loss streak to Taka Michinoku now.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes, because if it comes down to it, I mean, probably in this match, Doki would be the one taking the fall.
I think so. Then we're going to move on to a tag team match, a highlight match for the what's going to follow on night 2. You have Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii taking on Jonah and Big Teats. And then
if I
from
don't see
here,
a picture of Big Teats next to Big Ben, I'm going to be really mad.
That better happen. And then we have Hikuleo, Jado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Tamatonga taking on Gato, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Jay White. Being that Hikuleo has moved over to the other side, you're going to see him finally face off against some Bullet Club guys. I think this could be an interesting match where I think the pinfall is going to end up being either Gato or Jado, but I think it's just building forward to what is going to come, I think, for Declaration of Power.
I agree.
And your semi-main event of the evening is your IWGP Tag Team Championships. The FTR are finally making their return making their debut in New Japan in a sense, right? I think that they won the titles in AEW or at the AEW New Japan crossover show.
Yeah.
I think they've been on Strong and stuff, and taking on the from the United Empire Aussie Open. I think this is going to be a banger of a co-main event.
And Aussie Open, they're also it's going to be for the IWGP Tag Team Championships, but I believe aren't Aussie Open also the NJPW Strong Tag Team Championship?
Yes, they are the NW. They are the IWGP Strong or the NWP Strong champions too. Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness that those titles aren't on the line also, because gosh dang, those guys don't need any more belts.
Yeah. And then you have, as your main event of the evening, you get the special singles match of Will Ospreay taking on Shota Umino. And I think this is the beginning of Umino going to be coming home, in my opinion.
I hope so. Look at this little guy. He's like a little
Hiroshi
Tanahashi mini.
Yeah, I would swear he's Tanahashi's kid, not the ref's kid, but you know.
You can see Umino, Red Shoes Umino in the face.
Oh, you very much
next to each other.